You know, I really wish I had more doors or directions to come out of. I really got to start amping up the creativity. I can't be coming out of what is essentially my right forever. But anyway, hello everybody. It's Floof here. How you doing? Today we're going to be talking about the Harley Benton. Oh, fuck it. A little bit heavy. Mustang bass, or the Harley Benton. I have it written down here. The MV-4 SB bass. Real fucking catchy, you guys. Really rolls off the tongue. Anyways, let's get started. All the sound samples that you're going to see today are going to be on this bass that has DR Sunbeam strings. I actually just did a string shootout video. They had GHS precision flats on them for a while, and I just put these round wounds on it, and I think it fits the vibe a little bit better. You'll see the string shootout before this video comes out anyway, so I'm fine with sharing that detail. But this is going into a cable that's on the ground right now, and that cable is going straight into my Focusrite. That's going straight into Ableton, so that way you get the least processing that I could hopefully manage to do. Anyway, with that being said, let's get started. First things first, we got to go over what's good about this instrument. You know, we got to go into the good first. We got to do what I like before we go into the bad, and before I absolutely grill it for what it's worth. You know, you've seen the Glary video at this point and how controversial that was. You know, expect something probably not the same. There's actually a lot of good to this bass. You know, unlike the Glary. The look is on the money. The look is fantastic. Everything from the matching headstock to the roasted maple neck to the binding on the side of the neck to the tortoiseshell and the Daphne blue, the vintage colors that they did when they ran this, all of it is just really high marks. Like really, really good stuff. This bass comes pre-modified with a 5-way selector switch that Sono Jono put in. We have the first selector switch that you're going to be hearing all of the like sound examples except for the next few. So all the ones that kind of cut in between here that I put in here to make it, you know, feel connected and all that jazz, that's all going to be on the first position, because I believe that position to be the stock position, or what I think the bass sounded like when it came out of the factory, which is both pickups in series. The second position is both pickups in parallel. Third position is just the P pickup, but I think it's in parallel, which is kind of the big reason why I didn't put them all, you know, in here side by side, back to back. And lastly, you have the fourth position, which is just the J pickup and the bridge by itself. This bass also comes with Goto tuners. As a matter of fact, it's part of the name that I didn't really mention. It's the 4 MV SB Harley Benton Mustang bass, Goto at the end. They put the Goto at the end because this thing has Goto tuners and hardware at the top with this string tree and these tuners, which I think are great. I think they're really good. They're, you know, not the greatest in the world. They kind of come out of tune a little easier than I would like to imagine. But this isn't a very high price point. This bass comes at under $300 when it was brand new. And to me, you know, for that money, these tuners look good, they're a brand name, they work pretty damn well. So, you know, good enough. I'll let that one slide. It kind of feels a little weird that the Goto thing is like, we'll get onto that. We've gone over the good, now we gotta go over the bad. You know how my videos go at this point, and how these reviews go. The bad is, one, let's go over the Goto thing real quick. I ended the good on the Goto because the tuners were pretty good. You know, the bass is at a great price point. Having a brand name tuner and string tree on here, good stuff. Why did they just do the tuners and not the bridge? The bridge is just some no-name bridge with brass saddles. My brain wants to tell me that it's some kind of Wilkinson bridge, or some kind of clone of a Wilkinson brass bridge. And at that point, might as well go all Goto if you're going to name the thing Goto, you know? It just, to me, it feels like it's not necessarily a bad thing. The bridge is fine. The bridge works great. It's honestly a decent bridge for how cheap this bass is. But it just feels so out of place compared to the, like, headstock area of the hardware. Like, it's just strange. It's just a strange decision that Harley Benton made, and I don't know. That's just it. It's just weird. Number two is honestly the really big bad thing, and that's this tortoiseshell pickguard. It's splitting. The clear top bit, the clear plastic acrylic on top, is starting to split from the rest of it on the corner. It's something I had to bring up. I don't know if it had to do with it coming here from California, because this, again, was Sono Jonas. Hi, Sono. I'm enjoying it. Thank you. But coming from California to here, and the humidity changes, and the weather changes, all that kind of jazz might have played into it, but how I got it was with this tortoiseshell guard split. And to me, that's like, it just kind of sucks, you know? This bass is still pretty young. I don't think they came out with these in the past, like, longer than a year, I want to say. I think they came out with it in the middle of 2022, this series. And it just kind of sucks that the pickguard's already starting to split like this. I was really hoping that I'd be able to get at least a couple of years out of this thing. But, you know, at such a cheap price point, I guess they had to cut corners somewhere. And I guess the pickguard was one of them, I guess. The electronics on this is something we have to talk about. This has come pre-modified, as mentioned before. It's got the 5-way selector switch. It's got the like stacked volume, master volume, and tone knob still. But when this bass came out stock, it just had volume and tone. There was no selector switch of any kind, which to me is very bizarre for Harley Benton to do this. I don't know things like the costs of drilling holes in a body, but I was hoping that it would be pretty cheap to put a little 3-way selector switch like the Fender Mustang bass does, and still leave it at the affordable price point, even adding like $10 from the original. I think Sono paid $200 for this or some shit when he originally got it. It's not, again, it's not bad. It's just kind of a weird choice. This is a weird bass full of weird choices. You know, the master volume and master tone isn't that bad, but it's just kind of like bizarre. But speaking of the electronics, we got to go over these pickups and how they sound. I think they sound all right. I think they sound like, you know, more than adequate. And I bet you're wondering, Austin, why is this in the bad? Well, it's just because, like, when you solo them, maybe there was a reason why they didn't want us to solo them. Maybe we weren't supposed to. Maybe they were just, like, trying to protect us from ourselves. Because when I solo this P-bass pickup, one, it sounds like it's in parallel. I think it was just miswired. The J pickup sounds like, you know, fine. It's not bringing anything out of me. But honestly, it also really does feel like I'm being a nitpicky bitch at this point. So with that, I'm glad that if the corners were cut anywhere, it's the electronics, honestly, because the electronics are pretty easy to replace compared to, like, you know, the wood on the neck being really thick and being really hard to play. Fucking glary! So on to the clickbaity title that I named this whole, like, video after, right? This video should be called, let's see here, written in my little script here, the best short scale bass that I cannot recommend. We got to go over that. Because there's a big reason why I can't recommend it. I think this short scale bass is awesome. I think for the money, it is borderline unbeatable in the market right now for how much you get versus how much it actually costs. It's got a roasted maple, bound neck with a matching headstock, under $300. Like, where the fuck else are you gonna find that? Except Harley Benton. But the problem is this is discontinued. which is a shame because I think this is a slam dunk in literally every other part of the category. And I think it really puts like brands that are constantly bringing up their prices, guys like Squire, like really make them run for their money, you know, and really put them in their places. Like, nah, we could do the affordable price bracket a little better, you know, don't you know? There, but why am I all of a sudden Northern? But you get the idea. Like they're putting them in a spot that like it's a little niche in the market that opened up because Squire's been slowly raising their prices, and they had to put out the Squire Sonic series to kind of cut back down on that. To me, the Harley Benton is just another fighter in that category, and I think it provides a lot more than what the Squire Sonic comes out with right now. So I think that Harley Benton should bring this model back and really push it again, because I think that they might be able to put Fender in their fucking place, especially if they can keep the price point at $289 in the United States shipped. Because that's the only one that I found, was one on Reverb on the Harley Benton website. I don't even know if it was the Goto one, but I'm pretty sure it was. And it was $289, brand new, shipped from the Harley Benton warehouse in Connecticut, which is unreal at this price point. So I want to see it. I want to see more Harley Benton on this channel this year. You know, I mean, I'm recording this as of today. It is January 1st. I record my videos in batches, big whoop. It's so that way I could finish them and like delay them out. So that way I could have my time to do other things. Yeehaw. You know my secrets. But the big shtick is I want to see more Harley Benton this year. I think having more Harley Benton would be super fascinating to have on this channel. I think it hits a price point that's very like in its own bracket, really. And I think that this is a great introduction to the brand name as a whole. So overall, Harley Benton, really stellar fucking job on this, dudes. Like, you guys really slam dunked it. Everything seems to be right. On a scale from 1 to 10, 5 is average. Like, 1 is glary, 10 is like the nicest thing that money can buy, right? I don't know what a 10 would be on this channel, but I'm gonna place this at a good 8. I think this is a great value. I think it's a great bass. It's got some flaws, but none of the flaws are really like detrimental to the point of the bass being like a bad instrument or a below average instrument. I think it's well above average, and it punches well above its weight class. And with that being said, that's it, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all sometime down the road. Bye-bye.